Have we ever truly been in control of our own destiny? From the dawn of civilization, we've looked to the heavens, to the earth, to cryptic signs, searching for a glimpse of what's to come. We believe we've evolved, trading ancient superstition for modern science. But what if the game has never changed? What if the same forces that guided empires of old are still at play, simply wearing a different mask? What if the ancient seers who whispered prophecies into the ears of kings were just the early versions of the intelligence agencies that guide superpowers today? In the bronze-lit halls of power, where incense smoke curled around gilded thrones, kings and pharaohs made decisions that would echo for centuries, but they never acted alone. Behind every great ruler, from Alexander the Great to the Caesars of Rome, stood a shadowy figure, the seer, the oracle, the prophet. These were not mere mystics. They were the ancient world's intelligence officers. Before a single legion marched, before a single ship set sail for war, these spiritual advisors were consulted. They read the future in the entrails of animals, the flight patterns of birds, and the alignment of the stars. The Oracle at Delphi, a priestess channeling the god Apollo, could make or break an empire with a single cryptic phrase. To go to war without a favorable prophecy was not just foolish. It was a direct challenge to the gods themselves. These seers held the keys to the future, and in doing so, they held immense unspoken power over the present. These divine visions, however, were rarely just about spiritual guidance. They were potent political instruments, wielded with strategic precision. A prophecy foretelling victory was the ultimate justification for war, a divine mandate for conquest. When a ruler wanted to expand his territory or crush a rival, a favorable omen served as the perfect pretext, galvanizing armies and quelling dissent among the populace. It transformed brutal ambition into holy duty. A prophecy could declare a king's lineage as divinely chosen, solidifying his right to rule and delegitimizing any challengers. In this sense, these ancient prophecies functioned much like modern political ideologies. Just as nations today use concepts of national security, manifest destiny, or spreading democracy to rationalize their actions on the global stage, ancient rulers used the word of the gods. The language was different: divine will versus geopolitical strategy, but the goal was identical: to shape reality, justify power, and project dominance across the world. The prophecy was the ultimate press release, the divine seal of approval on terrestrial ambition. The methods may seem worlds apart, yet the underlying principle remains eerily consistent. The ancient Babylonian priest astronomer would spend nights meticulously tracking the movements of celestial bodies, decoding complex patterns in the stars to predict famines, floods, or the fall of kings. He was searching for signals in the cosmic noise, a hidden order that could reveal the future. Today, in sterile, climate-controlled rooms deep within the world's intelligence hubs, modern superpowers do the same. Instead of stars, they decode petabytes of data harvested from satellites, global communications, and online behavior. They look for patterns, for anomalies, for signals that predict a rival's move, an economic collapse, or a rising political threat. The ancient seer claimed to see the will of the gods written in the heavens. The modern analyst claims to see the trajectory of history written in the data. Both are decoders of complex systems, promising their masters a crucial advantage: the ability to see what others cannot, to know what is coming before it arrives. This relentless pursuit of foresight is one of the most enduring threads in human history. It is a race to control the future by predicting it first. The court astrologer who advised a medieval king on the most auspicious day to launch an attack was driven by the same impulse as the Silicon Valley engineer designing an AI system to forecast stock market trends or predict geopolitical flashpoints. Both are built on the belief that the future is not entirely random, that it leaves clues in the present, and that whoever can read those clues gains an undeniable edge. Humanity has always understood that knowledge of the future is the ultimate form of power. It allows one to prepare, to preempt, to manipulate. From the sacred calendars of the Maya, which plotted celestial events with breathtaking accuracy, to the predictive algorithms now used in policing, finance, and warfare, we have built ever more sophisticated tools in our quest to conquer uncertainty. It is a timeless obsession, a race where the prize is not just wealth of victory, but a semblance of control over the chaotic march of time itself. But what happens when the prophecy is one of doom? What happens when the vision doesn't align with the ruler's ambition? History shows a brutal, repeating pattern. When ancient prophets delivered warnings of defeat, of divine wrath, of the collapse of an empire, they were often not thanked for their honesty. They were silenced. The prophet Jeremiah was thrown into a pit for predicting the destruction of Jerusalem. Cassandra of Troy was cursed, her dire warnings of the city's fall dismissed as madness. Rulers who build their power on a narrative of strength and destiny cannot tolerate a counter-narrative of failure. The messenger of bad news becomes the enemy. Fast forward to today, and the dynamic is disturbingly similar. When an intelligence analyst presents a report that contradicts a government's preferred policy, they risk their career. When a whistleblower exposes inconvenient truths about illegal surveillance or the true costs of a war, they are not hailed as heroes. They are branded as traitors and face persecution, exile, or prison. The stakes have changed from divine favor to national security, but the core conflict remains. The powerful do not want to hear what they do not want to be true, and those who dare to speak it, whether they are ancient prophets or modern whistleblowers, often pay a terrible price. This brings us to a fundamental clash of worldviews: spiritual intelligence versus artificial intelligence. For millennia, civilizations were guided by a form of spiritual intelligence. This was not just about religion. It was a deep, intuitive understanding drawn from mythology, philosophy, dreams, and visions. It was a holistic way of seeing the world, one that sought to understand humanity's place within a cosmic order. Decisions of state were weighed against moral and spiritual consequences. This ancient wisdom, passed down through sacred texts and oral traditions, provided a framework for justice, community, and purpose. Today, we are rapidly replacing this with a new oracle: artificial intelligence. Global policy, financial markets, and military strategy are increasingly shaped not by human intuition or moral debate, but by the cold, hard logic of algorithms. AI can process information at a scale and speed no human ever could, promising optimal, data-driven solutions to our most complex problems. But in our rush to embrace this powerful new tool, we must ask what we are losing. Can an algorithm understand justice, compassion, or the sanctity of life? As we cede more of our decision-making to machines, are we trading the wisdom of the ages for the efficiency of the code, and in doing so, hollowing out the very soul of our civilization? Could the architects of that ancient wisdom have foreseen our world? It's a tantalizing question, sparked by cryptic passages in texts from across the globe. The ancient Indian epic, the Mahabharata, describes flying machines called vimanas and a devastating weapon, the Brahmastra, that creates a pillar of smoke and fire as bright as 1,000 suns, capable of wiping out entire armies, a description chillingly similar to a nuclear blast. The biblical prophet Ezekiel speaks of a vision of a wheel within a wheel, descending from the sky, a fiery, metallic craft piloted by strange beings. Ancient texts from Egypt to Ireland describe iron birds, chariots of fire, and weapons of the heavens. For centuries, these were dismissed as poetic metaphor or divine fantasy. But viewed through a modern lens, they take on a different, more unsettling meaning. Were these gifted seers, in moments of profound vision, actually catching glimpses of a distant future? Were they seeing our tanks, our jets, our missiles, our drones? Were their machines of fire and iron birds not metaphors, but literal, if flawed, descriptions of a technology they could not possibly comprehend? This journey through time brings us full circle to a final, disquieting thought. The ancients looked to the gods for prophecy, for judgment, for the power to shape the world. They lived in awe and fear of these unseen forces that held the fate of humanity in their hands. Today, have we simply replaced one pantheon with another? Our modern superpowers, with their global surveillance networks, can watch anyone, anywhere. With their AI-driven predictive systems, they claim to see the future. With their arsenals of devastating weaponry, they hold the power of creation and destruction on a planetary scale. They can alter climates, rewrite genomes, and connect the entire world in an instant. From the perspective of an ancient priest or king, would these capabilities not seem divine? In our quest to master the future, in our race to become all-seeing and all-powerful, have we, the architects of the modern world, inadvertently become the very gods the ancients once spoke of in hushed, fearful tones? Have we fulfilled their prophecies not as victims, but as the agents of a destiny they could only glimpse and we can no longer control? The oracles have fallen silent, but perhaps their final, greatest prophecy is unfolding all around us.